Well, I don't think I'm going to be doing any repots today. I definitely think there's going to be another 3 or 4 nights of negative temperature, so I've just got to debate whether I move some of the smaller, more delicate stuff that just hasn't quite opened up and get it into the greenhouse. But I need to get my snow plough to get to the greenhouse first, because for us this is like a blizzard, an absolute blizzard. I'd probably be lucky if I make it to the end of the garden alive. Anyway, I've got snow coming in through the window, so I'll close the window because it's my daughter's room. She won't be happy, you know. So welcome to sunny Grantham from Expressions of Grace Bonsai, here in his red dressing gown, freezing. Oh, but that empty gap, that was where the Trident maples were, but they are now in the greenhouse. Nigel, you're used to this sort of thing, but really, everything is out. All the young maple leaves, all opening out. I think my silver birch, the buds were just starting to go, and now we've got this. Really? Got the little buds that are just opening up. They're going to blacken off if we don't keep getting these in, so I'm going to try and get these into the greenhouse. But oh, I'm so glad I got the Tridents in last night, but honestly, thankfully I did know the frost was coming, and yesterday I managed to get the maples. I mean, they're all greened up nicely, but after the damage that happened last year, I had so much trouble. I lost the top off this one. That whole top there had to be removed. It was about that much taller because of frosts. I think it was a little bit earlier last year. But anyway, hopefully the Tridents will be fine. And just as a precaution, I think I'll bring the young maples in where they're just opening up. Who knows? If I get the snow off them, and maybe I won't have too much of a problem. The flowering stuff, they've done all their flowering for now. I might bring the Dawn Redwoods in because their buds are just opening up, and I've only got 4 or 5 of them, so I might bring them in. But the rest, just have to put to fate, see what happens. Anyway, let me get on with it. I don't know whether, hopefully it'll be cool enough, it'll be warm enough in here that the snow will melt this lot off. What I'm hoping is that it's just going to be warm enough in here that this snow will melt off, and just maybe that'll be enough. I may even give it a quick squirt with water in here. Oh, this palmatum always struggles, and this year is looking so good. Last thing I need is for the leaves to all be burnt off. I have no idea what it's going to do to the larches. They've all just started budding out, but I've got too many larches. I'll just have to trust. It's just the maples. It's the maples that's always the one. This maple was originally a 6-foot Katsura special, which I bought for £40 in Plymouth in early 2015. Yeah, when I was looking after my mum when she had her throat cancer. But yeah, it's been through the wars. Little Fuji cherry cutting. It's about 4 years old. Flowers don't look very happy, do they? absolutely fantastic morning, so let's just keep on in perhaps in a bit more sun, working on removing the wire from these Japanese Quince. Oh, got bumblebees around me. I think I put the wire on. These. It's been on for probably it's definitely been on 3-4 months. And it's definitely taken the all the different branches are staying in the position. I imagine what I'll do is I'll be cutting right back, but because I've got these wires in a lovely position, I'm going to put them into soil, some of these interesting shapes, see if we can get some root development and see if we can get some really interesting cuttings. I'd imagine with the bends that are in here, they will make absolutely fantastic cuttings for the future. In fact, what I'll do is I'll get a little bowl of water, so that when I take these cuttings they can sit in there until I've decided I can pot them up. Yeah, but my aim has always been to become self-sustaining, certainly with the Chinese elms, Trident maples, but yeah, you can get the Japanese Quince in this country, but you can't get bonsai material. So we'll see how I get on with that, but I'll be cutting those in a minute, taking the cuttings to see if we've got a few more with wire on. I think it's important, certainly within the bonsai trade, and now that it's getting so difficult to get any sort of material in, that if you're going to try and make a go of a business or anything of this, you really do need to have the space and the desire to start building your stock levels, to become self-sufficient. And yes, I think, to be honest, it does mean that you've got to make decisions like that while you've still got employment elsewhere, and you do have to have the facilities or the space to have, as I have, growing beds. And you know, you've seen I haven't got a massive garden, but I have got the ability to devote it almost entirely to bonsai areas. I like that. Really nice shape coming up here. I'll probably find that this branch will get removed, and we'll have the defining line coming up here, and have this coming off. Now, what else? One more to look at. Oh, stretch across, let the big stomach rest across my belly. Look at this. Look at that lovely flowers there, little white blossoms. And again, when you're talking about what value is there, I mean, the values of things have changed dramatically. I'm going to do a video, I keep talking about the Saving Nurseries visit. I've done a bit more research on current rules regarding imports, exports, and I'll go into more detail, but as it stands, exports of any plant material from anywhere outside of the EU is either prohibited or subject to review by DEFRA, and then they don't give you a date or a timeline when DEFRA are looking at stuff. So if you're thinking about getting anything through direct from Asia, through traditional means, it isn't happening. And I think the only route now is through Europe, where there are different guidelines and plant passports. It's all about diseases, so they say. So I know you can get stuff through Amsterdam, and a lot of the bonsai traders are doing just that. Again, I'll talk about transport costs. I mean, it's not even an option for a little guy like me. Ooh, is that lawn mowing? No, boy racer. With the way prices are with bonsai, so long as I keep get quality high, you know, take my time. It may be that this could become quite an impressive nursery sometime in the far-flung future. But either way, I know I'm going to have to be able to source the standard accepted materials myself. So, you know, I keep showing you those loads and loads of Chinese elm cuttings developing. You know, they are going to be the Chinese elms of the future, and just as long as I deal with them properly and carefully and patiently, that's what people are going to be buying, because they're not going to be able to get it anywhere else. I was talking on another video about leaving branches on for wound healing, and I tried to explain it in a comment. I was just thinking about that. Let's have a look at something that's got a wound. We'll say, take for example this one. I can't remember the name of it. It's a broadleaf evergreen, silver something, I think. Anyway, here there's the remaining wound mark of where a large branch was taken, and you've got one here and here. And I talk about calluses, and what you're doing is you want the sap to rise up through the tissue of the tree, the cambium layer, and then that will go through and feed other branches. To encourage that, if I took a great big branch off here and here, ideally what I want to have is buds or branches coming here that's encouraging sap flow to a place. So if that's growing, that means it needs to have sap flow coming through, so it'll come around sites where there are cuts. By doing that, that encourages the tissue that's here or here to what we call roll over, and rather than dying back, these are kept live veins kept around it, and it's like a roll neck jumper. You see the bands roll over the site of the cut, so actually reducing the size of it. And if you look at trees in nature where branches or trunks have fallen, not trunks, but great big branches have fallen off, you get this roll neck all around it, where basically the bark rolls over the site of the wound, slowly closing it up. And that's to protect it from disease and rotting. And that's the effect we're trying to get. So often you'll get really good bonsai professionals, they'll cut slowly around old wounds to reopen the live flesh, the live cambium, so that we can get even more healing happening. Just get those nice and sharp, because I want nice clear cuts for these cuttings. Take some stubs off. And I'm going to take right back until I get some nice. Oh, got some wire up there, I didn't see that. So here, all this one up here, get a nice shape there, so I'm going to cut it right back there. How much of that do I want? You don't want to be too greedy. To be honest, I'm probably being a bit too greedy here. The more tissue that's on there, the less likely the cutting is to survive. But last year I had quite a great deal of success with cuttings from those. So I will probably take off that. So I'll be left with that as the cutting. Into my water. Also, the decisions I make now, at this stage, like still like this, it doesn't really matter too much if I end up going another way with it. Right now I'm more interested in the cuttings actually. It'd be lovely to have a whole pile of Japanese Quince. I got some, I think I got about 4 or 5 last year from cuttings, and they're doing really well. Potentilla, they grow like weeds. These were cuttings, as I say, I think I've talked about them before. These were that great big horrible monster. These have all come as cuttings off a very small plant, which is the old lady you saw in the fashion show. Roots coming out, and this is what happens if you just leave them in a nursery bed in the pot. So I'll just clean them up, and I might just, I've got quite a few cuttings of these, and there's not as much popularity for potentilla, but they do produce really nice flowers as well. So I'll just clean it out, take it back down. But there are some sites that will be a nice little cutting. As you know, I don't like to waste enough. And again, we'll talk about relaxing. It can be quite relaxing just doing this. I don't know if you've seen here, that was me doing wiring yesterday. The wire flung back and just cut me right across the wrist. But with this, let's see if we can get a shape there and that branch going down. Don't know which way I'll go with it. But this will get repotted next year, I imagine. It'll get its first bonsai pot anyway. If I'm looking at following the shape that way, then I want this one to really move on. So both of these I'll leave and let them go to try and thicken this. The thing about podentillas, they send out new shoots from old wood so regularly. Just got to watch out for too much lower stuff because it'll kill off the top. I don't know whether it's basally dominant or not, to be honest, but because the other thing I can do is follow this line, bend that one down and use this as the next leader, in which case I probably don't want what's down here. Probably don't want that anyway because that's following a line I don't like. But look what I'm talking about, this here. If I'm going to follow that one up here as the next, then I really don't want this. Okay. It's potentially who knows? Maybe. And I say, when you're working with stuff like this, it's still in the pot, you're just trying to control it a little bit. Now I know that that's not going to be... No, I'll keep it going. Don't know. There you go. So that's done. And some days, that's what I'll do. I'll just go around. Weather's like this. Don't want to be in the shade. That needs to be wired. Oh gosh. That was something I found in a nursery. I thinned it right out into a pot. Just need to wire these down. This is very traditional style. But it's recovered the repot, it's recovered my pruning last year. So yeah, really happy with that. Oh. Use. Really, really good. But you see they're sprouting from old wood all over the place. They've got a unique pruning time. It's later on in the year. When I get to them, oh, there we go, enough stretching. That's all for now. What I'll say to you is all that'll happen with those, I'll put them into straightforward free draining bonsai mix with probably a bit more of the old Magic Jacks, composty stuff from the garden centre, and then they'll sit in the greenhouse for a week or two, and then I'll just leave them in a shady part of the garden. That's all for now. And there's the cuttings now. Just got them into that little humidity chamber, and I'll leave them there. I can regulate it with the vents at the top. Hopefully in 3 or 4 weeks they'll have rooted and I'll be able to bring them outside.